Hello and welcome everybody. It is grand finals time here for day 2 of the IEM Guangzhou Rest of Asia qualifiers. We have battled through 2 epic nights of Australia's best, going head to head, toe to toe, fist to fist and face to face, just for good measure. We have finally arrived at these 2 teams. Immunity, your team on the left, the most dominant team in Australia, are up 1 game in this best of 3. They came from the winners bracket, they're still sitting there, and they were waiting for their opponents, MF. MF have to win 2 games in a row if they want to take it and be the ones that get to go to China, and IEM need only to take 1 to keep their international dreams alive and rep Australia at the upcoming IEM Guangzhou that's coming up early October. My name is Pastrytime, and I've been joined as always by the ever dedicated and the very, very sensual, it is FourCourtJester. How are you?
Felt like I was being brought back to the days of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That was a really good intro there, sir. But happy to be here, across the pond. Always happy to support you, bro. And of course, big shout out to my family living in Australia, because I am half-blooded. But, you know, whatever, time zones can't keep me down. I'm very excited to see Immunity go up against Mindfreak, because of course we have been following Mindfreak all night. So they're warmed up, they're ready, they're pumped, they want to do this. Now, I don't know what Immunity's been doing these last few rounds, but if they're coming into this cold turkey, they could have a good fight on their hands.
They've probably been playing solo queue. If their elo is anything to go by, these dudes, they chuck out a lot of solo queue games, and they've probably been warming up at some point, but they are absolutely ready for this game. Again, if they have to, they've got a game to give. They don't want to give it away, that's for sure. They would rather take it 1-0 right now, or 2-0, because it's an extended best of 3, and then just take it right there and be the champions. But of course, MF are going to give them the fight of their life for this one, and as I said, Immunity, the most dominant Australian League of Legends team, they just kill everybody, but only within the last week, MF took a game off them in a scrim, which sounds like, oh, that sounds like nothing. That's actually really hard because of how well Immunity have been playing. So if there's a chink in IEM's armor, it may be MF, and we're going to have to find out right here. The draft is well underway. Jace, Diana, and Darius, the bans out there from Immunity. They don't want to see any of that crap that they've seen on stream. No Darius, no Jace, and Diana just for good measure, because hey, she's a pretty powerful champion. On the other side for MF, Cho'Gath, Shen, and Malphite are your bans out there. Just more standard bans. I feel Cho'Gath has been more popular in the mid as an AP champion, and of course Heaven's Curse plays a mean Cho'Gath as well. Not want to deal with that, but Vladimir available here, which will likely go to Asian Maddie up in the top lane, and we had Nunu and Janna picked up here, so it looks like Venom wants to go back to that to that jungle Nunu, although we could see some swapping around here from MF Jester. What do you think of the pick so far?
Picks, Vladimir, surprise, surprise, one of our most favorite champions in this tournament that we've seen over the last 48 hours, so not really too surprised there, but I do want to comment on those bans. I mean, Jace, Darius, we've seen some excellent work coming out of them from Mindfreak all night, so it is really not a surprise that they would take away Venom on Darius and Belasta on Jace. But Diana is something that really strikes me strange, because I haven't really seen her too much in the competitive scene. She's not been a pick or a ban for any of the games that we've covered tonight, but I've also got to give props to Mindfreak for their solid 3 bans. I don't think they've actually varied their bans all night. It's always been Cho'Gath, Shen, and Malphite.
I think you're right, actually, and that just shows that MF, this is the stuff we don't want to deal with. Everything else we are utterly prepared for, and you can bet that MF are prepared. I mean, these are arguably the top 2 teams in Australia going head-to-head, but as we've seen Immunity play before, MF are going to have their work cut out for them in this one, but we'll see what happens then. Oh my goodness, I'm getting flashbacks from yesterday. If you guys didn't catch the games, the 3 champions that Immunity currently have selected were the exact same 3 they have been playing pretty much every single time we've seen them. We had to have a minor change. Of course, they won't be able to pick up Janna again, but we had Soraka, Ashe down the bottom instead, so we might see that up there being played by Jesse. But we have Vladimir, Syra, and Ashe. It seems like Immunity just have a strategy that they want to pick, and oh my goodness, that's Nidalee.
Yeah, Nidalee top lane. I mean, she's still something of a viable pick. It really does come down to your comfortable, playstyle. If it's going to be matching up with Nidalee, she's definitely something that you could rock in that top lane to great success. Big question is, will it be AD, will it be AP? If that is going to be a top lane Nidalee, not a support, and we've been seeing more of an AD style coming out of Belasta, so not too worried about that. But Ashe, Vladimir, Zyra, very repetitive picks from yesterday as well. And there's that Soraka that might actually get hooked in. I did see a Lulu being considered a little bit earlier, but a Lulu would go great with Vlad as well as Zyra, because that would be 2 extra knockups for Vlad's Hemoplague to go down. But I mean, Radier on Ashe is a sight to behold. Very, very scared of this lineup. I'm going to wait for them to lock in. But a Caitlyn down in the bottom lane, nothing that Ash shouldn't be able to handle. But Spooks has been doing really good today. I mean, he has been pretty much on fire in that bottom lane. We did see him with Caitlyn earlier today defeat a Graves, I believe it was a Graves Soraka. Either way, Spooks is an all-star.
Graves Tarek, maybe? No, that wasn't the lane we saw. We saw Ezreal Tarek, I remember that. Maybe Graves Sona would be my guess, because Sona's been very popular as well. Interestingly enough, not actually picked up at all by either of these teams, so not seeming to really favour that Sona, and we are going to have exactly the same lineup from Immunity. The first game we saw them, they played these exact champions, except they had Janna Ashe instead of Soraka. Janna's been picked, so when that happened, they picked Soraka, and they're going for Soraka this time as well. Immunity, as I said, know this strategy to a T, and MF are really going to have to dig deep if they want to try and take it out here, because they know Immunity know exactly how to do this. They could possibly play with their eyes closed. I wouldn't recommend it, but they might be able to do it. That's just how good they've looked recently. But anyway, MF, I mean, I can tell you right now that anyone from Australia that's followed the scene are cheering for MF to at least take one game, this game, and so am I, because I'd love to have a second game to cast. The more the merrier, that's for sure. But of course, we've got the last pick now for MF, going to be very, very important. Blaster has come up clutch in a lot of the games that Mindfreak have played, and the champion he gets to pilot into battle will be very, very crucial here. Gangplank of all champions is being considered here, and that may be the last pick there. I don't know what's happening with these lanes. That much I can tell you. There are a lot of options here for MF, but we're going to have to see exactly what they want to go to. But right now, it looks like they have all locked in now, and it is going to be Gangplank as the last pick.
Yeah, it's not going to be a mid plank. So I mean, Gangplank used to be somewhat of a high tier top lane way back in the day. I mean, with oranges and the parlay, especially with crit runes, like when they still existed, those crit runes were a fun way to just chunk down your enemy. Hey, you want to get hit for 400 damage, level 3? Sure, bam, there you go. Not a problem. But if this is going to be locked in, and I don't see any dodges coming out, it looks like a mid Nidalee or an AP Janna.
Yeah, it could be as well. Of course, we're going to have to wait to see exactly when these guys swap around. We'll wait for the 20 more seconds or so until these guys are all into the game as well. But as I said, there are lots and lots of options for MF with the way they've drafted this lineup. Immunity's draft, not particularly interesting. Again, just the same thing they've done. But they've got solid champions that they've shown they're very, very capable of playing as well. So I'm very interested to see if there's going to be any last-minute swaps here for MF. Otherwise, we'll be running it just like this. We'll be able to cast out just exactly who will be playing what, unless they've somehow magically switched roles, which I've seen once before. It was hilarious, but I don't think we're going to see it this time. There are some summon spells for you as well. Just had them blacked out in case of ghosting, and it is going to be support Janna, jungle Nunu, AD Caitlyn, mid Nidalee. Mid-Nid, which was called in the chat, and Blast is going to be piloting Gangplank up in top with a teleport as well, just to make things interesting. So I think someone called it pretty much as MF started picking it in the chat. Seems to know them very well. Shout out to you, buddy, whoever you are. But this is a poke comp from MF.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I mean, we do got the Piltover with the spears, parlays, ice balls, and howling gales. It's not as hard as a disengage as we saw before with the Gragas, because we still got that Janna, which is still going to make it a little bit hard to pile on. But at the same time, with Zyra's ultimate being targetable away from her, they might not necessarily have to pile on as quick as they need to. So Fluff getting in there with that Maokai into the Zyra, and then of course Radier, he had some fantastic positioning yesterday in the games, which really, and he really knows when to use that Crystal Arrow. It's not pile on everything at once, it's stagger it out. So after all the smoke clears from the initial engage, he really just figure out where that arrow is going to be. So without those hard disengages, we could be in a lot of trouble for Mindfreak if this poke comp of theirs does not work. Now at the same time, again, we've seen this lineup from Immunity. It's, as you said, nothing special. It's nothing interesting. It's pretty much the same old, but at the same time, it got them here to the grand finals, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly their strategy, and they've gone through this entire tournament without dropping a single game, which makes sense. It's a best-of-1 double elim tournament. They're the ones sitting in the winners bracket currently with a one-game advantage, and as you said, no point fixing what you already know works, and we're going to have to look again for some very, very potent Enchanted Crystal Arrow plus Twisted Advanced setup in the bot lane, and I think that's part of the reason why we see a cleanse actually out there on Caitlyn. Spooks, he did run it on Caitlyn last time, so he seems to like trying to keep people at range using his limited mobility, but mobility nonetheless with 44 caliber net gives him a little bit of maneuverability there, and of course, as I said, Caitlyn's range so good at keeping people at distance. If she does get caught, she wants to cleanse, flash, net out, and then be able to continue to pound people from range. So both these AD carries are actually going to pick up cleanse, which may mean that we're not going to see as much action as we would do, but there is an exhaust, I believe. Yep, there are exhausts on both these supports, so that is available as well. But exhaust is more of a defensive summon spell. We have seen ignites as well come out from AD carries in recent memory as well, but not going to happen this time around, and this whole game should be a very interesting affair. As you said, I think MF need to... They've played every comp they've played so far very, very well. And I think in particular their game against Riot really showed what they can do with a disengaged, plus single target CC style comp with all those frozen mallets, just catching people out, and never really having a straight up team fight. Poke is very, very hard to execute properly, but if you do, it can be very, very hard to beat. So, going to be interesting to see exactly how this early landing phase develops in particular, but I don't know, I think MF... whenever you play against Immunity with whatever champions they have, I think you could give them 5 random champions, and it would be a challenge for you as any team here in Australia. So we'll see what they can do. But MF, again, they have to win this game to continue on. They have 0 chance of winning if they lose this one. It's a best of 3 with a 1-game advantage currently to Immunity. So we'll see if MF can come up strong in this first one and give us at least 1 more game. That would be absolutely lovely. But we shall see. There we are. Everything's loading in now. Got plenty of skins to talk about as well. In fact... there are no Heaven's Curse. Actually, both the AP champions on Immunity let us down, and it's 3 skins to 4. Well, clearly MF are going to win now.
It's what to 4 to 5.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry, I meant 5. I don't know why I said 4. I think I was thinking about your joke from yesterday.
Yeah, let's not go back into that territory, no worries. But one thing I do want to point out here, Raydeer, again, with the Cleanse Flash, we saw him rocking that, but Spook's also deciding to go that as well. We've seen him use 2 different sets of summoners, but the Cleanse and Flash from last game worked out extremely well for him, as well as the one before. But Teleport Ballista, I think this is the first time we've actually gotten to see that top lane from MF actually pick up something other than Ignite. Now, last game we did see Mr. Stu on MIS with Teleport, and he didn't use it once in the game. If Ballista took the Summoner spell and he's not going to use it, it's really going to come back to bite him in the ass for that top lane, because now it's 1 Summoner spell to 2, and that's nothing that you can really afford when this is the game to decide if we play more games.
Yep, just 1 second again. Looks like people... I've gotten a little bit more quiet, which is not exciting. I'm hoping to get loud. Apologies, that is not a bit of Windows there. I'll get everything back very, very shortly. Let me just boost this up just a tad. I don't know why it's suddenly going quiet, but that's very irritating. In fact, is it better? Not better? Alright, let me just take it up a little bit more, and then we'll get ready to go. Apologies, Jester. I'll have to ask you to fill in effectively yet again, as you always do. But I'll get this fixed up for everybody so you can hear my lovely, booming Australian voice. 1 second, everybody.
Yeah, not to worry there, sir. I got your back on this. Right off the bat, though, we don't see MF roaming as 5. The last 2 games through the losers bracket, they have been roaming through 5 through the bottom of the blue team. In fact, they've actually been red team the last 2 games as well. So, knowing that Immunity has had a lot of time to study the games, study the comps, they're not doing that. Instead, both teams are actually taking defensive positions on both sides of their rivers. So they are spreading out, looking at all the entrances. In terms of a level 1 fight, probably not going to see anything super exciting, as everyone is indeed just drawn out. Maokai's starting to stack his saplings here at the race, so pretty much going to be business as normal. If he takes these and goes straight to blue, he'll be in a good position, but he also has the opportunity of taking these straight to red to maybe visit the bottom lane in fairly short order. But we're going to have to see what Immunity wants to run with this. Immunity always showing us some fantastic plays, so let's see what they have in store for the early game. That being said, Pastry, let me hear your fabulous voice.
Hello! Ooh, that may be a bit too loud. I'm not sure. Streaming, you'll need to tell me. From what I'm seeing over here, it looks pretty intense. Pez, it sounds good. I moved a little bit away from my face because I tend to get kind of excited, and that will maybe kill people. Too loud for some people. Guys, just adjust your volume a little bit and try and get it fine, because it seems like it's all a bit crazy. People say I love you, people say I don't. Hopefully you all love me. Apparently it was fine before. Not too sure. Maybe turn it down just a little bit. I don't know if that'll help you. I'm not sure. Not sure. But alright, I'll leave it for now. If I get too many complaints, I'll fix it, but I'll just try not to yell so much. Oh man, I'm afraid. Apologies, I really don't want to kill anybody, and I'm afraid that that'll happen. But never mind, all the killing is now up to these 2 guys. These 10 champions that these 2 teams have brought into battle. We will now see come through. Down the bottom, we've of course got Radio playing on Ashe, and Jesse going to be playing on Soraka, with that Spooks and Zephyrus there for the MF side. In the middle lane, we're going to have Zara here being played by Heavens for Immunity, and Rusty Borbugs taking Nidalee of all champions into mid there for MF. Up in the top, Maddie's going to be playing at Vladimir as always, because he always plays Vladimir. And Ballas are going to be running Gangplank for this one. They're up in top for MF. And in the jungle, MF is going to be playing Jungle Nunu. And Maokai, as always, for Fluff is going to be there for immunity. Those are your lineups. And Maokai not going to go for a gank. Just going to continue farming, as always. And lots of poke here from the volleys actually coming out. Speaking of poke, we talk about MF's poke comp. Ash pokes pretty well. And I'm just making sure, do we have any level 1 action? Because I expect Nunu to maybe do a bit of counter juggling. We did see him, of course, against a Mumu. But Maokai's a little bit harder to counter juggle, Jester. Did we have any particular level 1 action I was fixing a few settings?
No, everyone spread out, everyone took a defensive, and it's just business as normal for everything, except Spooks. You know, he's just going to be taking a lot of harass from this Ashe. Ashe Sirach is a very spammy lane. She can afford to do as many volleys and as many trades as she'd like. We only got that Janna in this corner of Spooks, so without proper shield timing, you know, we're going to start seeing some kind of big advantage coming out from Raider over time if he keeps winning a lot of these exchanges. Now that's where the junglers have to come in, but, you know, Rusty Bags in the mid seems to be taking some of the attention here from Maokai. He's hanging around there, but at the same time we also got this Nunu, and oh, those are traps, right? So Nidalee, you know, doesn't need wards. She has her traps, and she's actually trapping up the mid to a fairly huge degree. If you check out the minimap, it's just like almost red paint just everywhere.
Yeah, I can actually see a whole bunch of dots around that map. They just turned you up a bit as well, so guys, if you couldn't see Jester, if you couldn't hear Jester before, I made it a little bit louder. My name's Pastrytime, I'm the guy with the crazy Australian accent, and the dude with the crazy Canadian accent is FourCourtJester. Say your name, sir!
FourCourtJester, Yeah.
Someone in chat also saying, Pastry's the one that talks quicker. Pretty much, that's... if you could see my webcam as well, you know instantly by the hair. That's pretty much... That's how we define ourselves as casters, is by hair. But never mind, we can't see hair today, sadly. It's fairly intense, but the intensity and the epicness is all for these guys right now. We're going to concentrate on immunity up against Mindfreak, two of Australia's top teams, arguably the two best actually going head to head. And I can see, hello new people, 700 viewers as well we're at right now. And remember, 50 more, we're going to be giving away even more RP as we see Venom rotate down, looking for the first blood here actually. And Nunu, again, great in this situation where things are extended, but Fluff coming in for the countering. We could have trouble now as Venom gets Arcane Smash back as well. The damage is good, but a great gale there from Zephyrus. Fluff now getting exhausted in there as well. Now Raider tries to poke back with the volley, flash away there from Maokai, and no blood spilt here on Summoner's Rift. Not yet though, 5 minutes, still no kills.
You know, something I wanted to really say there is, like, Venom is really not playing this correctly because he's about to get sandwiched by 3 of immunity, but then I'm looking at his hit points and he has 952 hit points. I mean, he did not drop at all, nearly as quick as I was expecting him to, and at the same time, Balasta up top has 990. It's just, I guess, that he knew exactly how much damage he could take. Up top, however, Balasta going head-to-head with Maddie. The Ghost coming out, the Transfusion with they ignite the Sanguine Pool is going to tank this tower. Is this going to work? The Oranges come out, and oh my god, Balasta takes the first blood over top of that Vladimir. Maddie just going too far deep. Did not get it. Yeah, and unfortunately, as that dive happened, Maddie's judgment there just not ideal. I could see what was going to happen, and unfortunately, just didn't have the damage to kill Blaster, and that's going to be a pretty happy first blood there for Gangplank. And Maddie, he's gone aggressive a lot on his Vlad when he hits level 6. Doesn't have Hemo Plague available to him at the moment, so I don't know. He saw something there that just didn't quite happen. The Ignite wore off. No extra damage for him, unfortunately, and yeah, Blaster coming up good there. He's going to be happy, and he actually has 2 gold per 10s at the 6.5 minute mark, which is just going to be such a great thing for his economy in this lane. Maddie, again, continuing his aggression, going Sork Shoes actually in this one. Maybe that's all he could afford, maybe that's just what he wants to go, but he may be trying to bring the fight more to this Gangplank, and if Balasta just, if he shrugs it off, if he stays safe and keeps farming, his parlay plus those GP10s that he's picked up very early in this game is just going to make his economy ridiculous. So we'll really have to see how many operates in this lane from now on, and as we kind of noted yesterday, Jester, Immunity don't seem to like their gold per 10s outside of the standard ones. Well, Immunity, as we saw yesterday, was playing a much more accelerated metagame. You know, games ending before the 30-minute mark, so which means that there's no time to really invest into those gold pretends because that's just not going to pay itself back. Now, at this point, the game is looking, you know, maybe a little down for them. They did lose that first blood, but there haven't been any kind of crazy plays, any kind of crazy kills. Maokai is just really content. You know, he's a tree in the forest, and he's happy to be that right now. He's actually going to give off that blue buff to Zyra. So we might see a bit more of a slowed down meta from them, but typically when you do gotta accelerate it like that, you just need those items faster, and the only way to get that is to ignore your gold pretends.
Yeah, absolutely. Just try and have the strongest mid game you can and win with that advantage from there. Like compiling, pushing down towers, etc. I mean, this game's fairly passive so far. 1 kill, you know, as we have almost 8 minutes elapsed in this game. So, you know, I guess running a bit off from the averages we've had in our previous games. But, you know, we can't ask for everything. Not all the games can be as action-packed as the ones we've had. Blue buff now getting donated to Rusty, who's in Cougar form at the moment, going to be able to take that up pretty happily. So blue buff for him. Plenty of spears coming out, and Zara with blue as well, which she loves to have. Just wants to spam out, clear as many creeps as she can. And speaking of CS, currently 58 to 56, so very, very even here. Literally might even get up a few as she last sits down here at the turret. So I can't really see any real advantage. And Mindfreak are actually up in gold from that first blood. It's not by much, to be fair, only 600 gold, but it is something.
Well, so you gotta get some kind of advantage somewhere. You know, as I said, the get lanes at this present, you know, nothing crazy, just kind of pretty much a normal game at this rate. Now, Maddie up top with those Sork shoes, as you did say, I mean, that's pretty much all he could afford at the point, because he did not get the kill, and he is down a little bit in those creeps, although he has now come back up. But the double gold pretends for Gangplank. As soon as he killed Maddie and went back to town, he actually farmed the lane, which froze it there. So he has a lot of cash to his name with those gold pretends. And here comes the Nunu. Sanguine Pool going to go off. I'm not too sure it's going to be enough to keep him here. The ultimate going off from the last with the cannon. Now we are still looking for that perma-slow. Are we going to go for the actual tower dive? It's just not enough. The wish actually coming out from Jesse there to keep him alive. But that was 2 ultimates, perma-slows, no flashes used. But we did get that Soraka wish out of the way. So we could have a window of opportunity in this bottom lane. I say that, but Radiant are going to go with that crystal arrow right into Spooks. And Spooks cleansing and netting away. So no problems. No problems.
Yeah, it's like getting a little low, so just scaring me actually. He's trying to transfuse up as much as he can. Will now recall and go back to base. Bottom lane again, that great setup. We've seen it before. Maokai plus Ashe is so powerful, but I think the last time we saw it, we didn't have a cleanse up on Spooks, and that Caitlyn cleanse was just perfect there. Spooks knew immediately what was happening, and Fluff with a great camp there attempted at bottom lane, can't quite get there. Heaven seems to be really bullying Zara though on this lane. Sorry, bullying Nearly. He's Zara. Awkward. And just doing a lot of damage, but Nid is keeping up in CS as well. And in this situation where you're going for this AP Nid, going for a lot of poke, you only really need the farm so you can start doing the poke as much as possible, getting your items up. As long as you survive, it's fun. So that's, I think, why Heavens is trying to bully Nid as much as you possibly can. But right now she's been fine. Again, only 1 kill in this game. We have now passed the 10-minute mark. So it's a little bit, again, a little bit slower to what we're used to, but depending on what happens. Oh, now jungle fight actually going to happen. Both Maokai and Nunu are going to try and duke it out. There's Maelstrom coming down as well. Heaven's now coming in to maybe get the snare, but Venom runs out on with Blood Bowl. Pretty hard to catch there. There's a pink ward thrown down by Fluff, just to clear out that ward that put down by Wraiths. But Venom not really doing the counter jungle he wants to, but maybe the whole point is just to make Caitlyn the strongest he possibly can. We've talked about Nunu as a support. He's really good in that support role. He's got such a great amount of buffs. You get even a little bit more CS than you would in the jungler than down bottom lane. So, you know, pick a different support, have almost a double support, just get Nunu to buff your AD, and then have a support like Janna, a really good, you know, team fight style support, and just kind of make your Caitlyn, who a lot of people think is, you know, kind of a subpar late game carry, into just an absolute monster. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting where MF go with this, but I think the fact that Nunu isn't doing as much counter jungling doesn't matter maybe as much as I think it is, but we'll see.
Well, time will tell. 11 minutes in. If he was going to go more hardcore into the counter jungling, then we'd see a lower creep score on him. But he's sitting at 50, Maokai at 59, which does kind of indicate just a normal jungle, maybe a few ganks. I mean, 0-0-0 as the score. The only person with a kill is Gangplank, and that's because he soloed it by himself. Gangplank, however, now looking more like a tank plank, because he did head back to town. He has a lot of magic resist to his name. That's really going to start hurting Maddie in this laning phase, because Ballista with oranges and the Parlay Harass is going to be able to start really trying to keep down Maddie. But at the same time, that Parlay used for creeps could turn him into a bank plank.
Yeah,
I know you can do anything with planks these days.
Oh man, that's so good. And same trick again here from Immunity. Fluff is down here, Mark, and actually leaves, and Venom is leaving too. So the potential 3v3 situation at bot avoided for this time. Not going to have that happen. And just again, Ashe seems to really push aggressively with Soraka and saying, I like the way IEM play it. And Radio, I mean, aggressively playing back and forth. The creep scores currently 107 to 88. So Radio has managed to find a small CS window here, where he's managed to get ahead. But Nunu just hasn't found a spot. You can see ward's actually up here. There's a good one here up near the dragon area. No other ward, I believe, down in the bottom area for Immunity right now. No, just the one at dragon. But Nunu has not been able to find space into this bottom lane, despite the fact that they're pushing. And congratulations, everybody, we're giving out more RP. Welcome, 750 viewers. It's lovely to have you here.
I'll get on that in just a little bit, looking for maybe a pause to give that out. But, top lane, it is still Immunity pushing in against the Gangplank. Will that be his demise? I don't know, because we got a Nunu up there right now, but now he's just going to reveal himself, just relieve the pressure. But the big thing is Radier down here is really pushing Spooks and Zephyrus right up to that tower, and that tower is not looking healthy, Pastry.
No, and actually up top there's 2v2 action happening. Hemoplague has been proc Vengeful Maelstrom as well. There's the Gangplank ultimate coming out, the Cannon Barrage. Magic trying to fight, Blaster gets out of the way though, and Venom now, yep, no one's actually going to die. There's a lot of cooldowns burnt there and pretty much nothing else to say for it. And again, we're only going to have one kill in what is now approaching to be 15 minutes, but I think this tower is going to fall. And we saw this when Mindfreak played before. There's a Janna Shield as well. Eye of the Storm, no, not enough there. And Rady will pick up the first tower of the game. And if history is any indicator, we should see IEM now rotate potentially up towards top or mid and try and keep the pressure on. We saw Mindfreak do this against Riot, and IEM have been doing it pretty much whenever we've seen them all tournaments. So there's not been the kills that they may have wanted, but I think they have found the window they need to maybe get a little bit more pressure, a little bit more momentum going, but the gold at the moment, despite that tower, is actually dead even. So, I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better grand finals, I don't think.
Well, one kill, I mean, it could still anybody's game. Grand finals, again, this is a lot of pressure on top of Mindfreak, and they really do need to deliver this kind of win if they want to continue this series. Now, Vladimir heads back to town, has himself that Haunting Guys, but now also has himself a Cage's Lucky pick. So either he's really feeling the starve of the gold, but he does have 108 creeps to his name. In fact, he's beating out Gangplank in terms of creeps, so I can't imagine he's starved. But with that Cages, combo that with Heaven's Cages, she's had hers for like ages at this point. But that could be potentially 2 Deathfire Grasps for some extreme burst later on down the line.
Yeah, man, Radio has an absolute bank of gold to go and spend. He's got 2,600 gold that he is now going to go cash in at the shop, buy whatever he wants, and he wants a BF sword and a pickaxe. And he's going to be building up towards a very quick Infinity Edge. Only 1 Doran's Blade on him as well. Does have a Vamp Scepter as well for extra lifesteal, which is great on a kiting champion like Ashe. But yeah, he's going to be going towards a quick Infinity Edge. And again, we talk about immunity, kind of shortcutting a lot of these economy-based items is GP10 that a lot of players like to get, and just trying to win with a very strong mid-game with whatever pressure and aggression they can pull off. And they've been pulling off a lot of good aggression in most of the games we've seen. Mindfreak not really giving an inch. In fact, they have the only kill in this game, as Spooks is going to take a bit more aggression. But Venom now coming in now as well. We could have a game. Great Howling Gale. There's the Snowball cleanse off from Raider as he flashes out, and the Astral Blessing will keep him alive. And now maybe turn it around. Venom takes a few tower hits. Spooks one as well. Ace in the hole gets blocked there by Radier, and a great wish as well for Jesse, just in case Radier somehow missed it. You'd never really want to leave anything to your teammates, but a great block there from Ashe. And they'll casually take double golems as Fluff rotates down here as well. So we could see 3v3 action down here. Some cooldowns have been burnt. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is gone. I believe the ultimate for Nunu is still up. Yes, Absolute Zero's up. Monsoon's up as well, but Ace in the hole is down for Caitlyn. Maokai now sitting on the edge here, waiting to get in, looking for an opportunity. There is actually a ward here as well, so going to get spotted, and the sapping will reveal off immediately as well. Rusty going away here in the bush, not going to get caught though, and now it's time for him to spend a bit of his money. Oh, and then he trolled me completely. And actually could have a dragon attempt. There's a poke coming out, there's a spear comes out, but no, just a volley back. I am just trying to make sure the MF don't sneak the dragon in there, although with their bottom lane gone, that would be kind of a difficult prospect to say the least. But maybe Nidalee just trying to keep them in check, rotating down, see what she can do. Any damage should be done down bottom, but Nidalee does have almost 2,000 gold in the bank right now, so going to want to be shopping, and shopping spree indeed. It is time for Vladimir to go, and he has got a interesting bevy of items, shall we say. Got a Haunting Guy's got a Blasting one, and a Cater's lucky pick to go with his Sork Shoes, so all magic resist all the time down here. So, all magic pen, I should say. Apologies.
Well, while all that excitement was going on in that bottom lane, basically the top just dueled each other down to about 20% health each, cleared out the creeps, and they both went back to town on a gentleman's agreement that they will resume the duel in the top lane. But a Hex Drinker coming out now for Mr. Gangplank. So yeah, he's really gearing up in terms of magic resist, which is not a bad way to go whatsoever. Between the Maokai, between the Vladimir, and the Zyra, and top of that, for whatever reason, Starcall, there's, magic resist is just going to be that much more effective. The only person really that you gotta worry about physically wise is Radier, but I can't say that lightly because it's Radier, and Radier is a monster with his Ashe. In fact, he is doing most creep kills in the game at this point, 168.
Yeah, I mean, and Radier, he is the terror of Australia in terms of AD carries. players just love to hate him, and he's a great guy, he's clearly a great player, but people just get frustrated of how good he is, and I think he's actually now the highest ELO player in Australia, so he hit 2.5k ELO, which is just a ridiculous amount. That's about 2,000 more than I think I'll ever get in my entire life in my solo queue career. That dude is just a beast. Interestingly, up in top though, I tabbed over to the gold graph. I'm going to do it again. Despite the creep kill difference, Matty's actually 30 CS ahead from Gangplank. Because it's the early GP10s, he's actually behind in gold by about 5 to 600, which is amusing to me. Normally when you're 30-40 CS ahead of a lane, you think you're winning. But no, not so much this time.
Sorry, I just got a message here from Tony, and the RP giveaways are every 500, so the 750, it's not a milestone tonight, sir. I'm
so sad. I was told otherwise. Apologies, sir. Apologies to everybody. It's not just you. Apologies to everybody. I thought that was the case. Apparently I've been misinformed, but I'm very sorry. And that means get some more people. That's the only way you get RP.
Yeah, we need 1,000 for the next game.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'll buy the stream RP just for consolation. I feel bad now. I thought 700 was also tonight as well.
That's my public service announcement. Back to the game. Gold. You know, not that much different at this point. About 500 between the two teams. Still only the 1 kill on the board, and it looks like everybody is heading back to town. Maybe there's a special at the shop or something. But Gangplank heading on back, has himself now a Phage to go with his Hex Drinker, but very scary. 18.5 minutes into the game, Radier has that Infinity Edge.
Yep, and he's ready to go. That's pretty much go time for an AD carry, especially one like Ashe. She kites so well that you don't really need a whole lot else, but I either see 1 Dorans and a Vamp Scepter as well, which, as I said last year, helps so much when you're kiting, but you don't want to go overboard on the Dorans. Ashe, I mean, we've watched him play down there. Ashe has felt so safe here. Oh, wow, what a great kill there on the turret from Matty, but he could cost him his life. There's Venom's coming in as well there on the Nunu. There's a Snowball saying win pool. No, he is very, very dead. Absolute zero as well, just to ensure the kill, and there's the proc on the... There's a proc on the ultimate, and Balasa will pick up the last hit there as well, and gonna pressure this turret here as well now up in the top lane. But speaking of pressure, here comes the mid, and 4 members from Immunity. This is what we've seen them do time and time again. There's an arrow actually just gonna miss Jana there. Poor Zephyrus almost straight into the eye of that one. And there's a spear from Rusty, but not enough to deter IEM from pushing. I think top and potentially bottom will go down here as well. Top tower, yep, bottom's gonna go, and top should go as well. So we're gonna be almost all square at this point. 3-2 in turrets, and 2-0 for Mindfreak in terms of kills. The gold again staying fairly even, a few thousand ahead here for Mindfreak, but now Dragon, it's just objectives tonight. I think there's pretty much a special going on around the entire map here on Summoner's Rift, and there's Dragon going down as Marco picks it up. Rusty could be in a ton of trouble actually, running away on his needly, but the pressure on top still happening now as Venom and Balasa continue to push down this top tower. Nope, no one is dying. Soraka actually very, very low. I think must have gotten hit by a spear. Uses the wish just to make sure, and Vlad's going to come back up on the top lane to get that away, but they did a lot of damage, about 2/3, 3/4 of the health there on that top turret. MF really just playing superbly, all tournament, and in this finals especially.
So, ignoring the second tier top tower getting chunked down to about half, what happened was Soraka actually got really low, and then as they were exiting the dragon, walked into a Nidalee trap. That's why she had to blow that wish, because the trap was ticking her down to pretty much a lethal level. But despite the differences in what happened there, you know, we had a kill, we had some dragons, we had some towers, the gold actually didn't really change that much. Still about 500 gold difference. Yeah, that's ignoring the damage to the top tier 2 tower.
Yeah, that's a great ace in the hole. The Heavens comes in though. There's Stranglethorn's a Q out as well to snare Blaster. Gets a kill on the turret, but Spook's in trouble. Cleanses out of the ult. Beautiful ult from Zephyrus. And MF just... Zephyrus's Janna play across when we've seen him has just been spectacular. Just getting his team time and time again out of horrible situations. And MF walk away with a free tower because of it. Great play from them.
Well, now with that extra tower down, you know, things swing a little bit. You see, you know, Mindfreak up in gold. It's extended to about 1100, but yeah, that was a crazy team fight. I really expected Spooks to go down, just so much CC, but that's the power of Cleanse. That's why you take that Cleanse, especially against a top tier team like Immunity.
Yeah, and Cleanse plus Janna has just made this AD carry so slippery. People don't normally associate Caitlyn with being hard to catch. Usually Corki and Ezreal especially are those kind of carries where people just get so frustrated trying to kill them. But Spook's shown that, hey, Caitlyn's got moves too, and in that uniform I'm not surprised. But it's been just... Caitlyn just 0-0-0, but at least one of those zeros is the death count. So...
if you want any zero, you want it on their death count. In fact, speaking of zeros, last game, neither Spooks nor Zephyrus actually died up against MIS. They were the only 2 people in the game to not die.
And hats off to them. They've been playing great in bottom lane, but they're going to have to continue playing great. Oh my goodness. That spear ate Maddie's face off. Poor Vladimir. He is not happy about this. I mean, he's got sustain, but it's pretty hard to jog that one off, that's for sure. And Vladimir is going to be thinking, guys, it hurts too much. I do like the fact that Soraka is in the comp for IEM. It's so good against poke to heal up a lot of that damage, but Soraka's not the dispenser she used to be, that's for sure. And Jesse can only heal so much. It's on a fairly long cooldown, and it heals for a fair amount, but he can't do... If spears keep connecting like that, they can't afford to do it. And MF, again, really just trying to keep people back. Nidalee actually has Athene's unholy grail for just all the spam, even if she doesn't have blue, and believe me, she has blue buff as well. But also need to see large rod, so I'm assuming a Rabadon's here just for maximum ownage on the spears. And right now, this game, it almost couldn't be any closer. I mean, obviously, if the gold values are both even, that would be closer. But right now, it's very, very close between these two teams. And MF looking strong to potentially knock IEM off their chance at winning this. And that would be, I mean, just this game would be an upset. If they win the second one as well, I think chat's going to do crazy things for any of the Australians watching tonight. But hey, we've got a long way to go till that. We've had almost 25 minutes elapsed in this game, and Jester, it kind of feels like when we're 25 minutes into a game, we already know who the winner's going to be. I don't think that's the case for this one.
It's anybody's game. I mean, 2,000 gold is very negligible. All you just need is one person caught out in order to start the snowball that will win you the game, and it really is hard to tell which team is going to be taking it at this point. I mean, you saw that Nidalee spear hit Vlad. Vlad had been so concerned about the physical damage coming out. Gangplank, that of course, we still do have those magical damage dealers, and his hit point got chunked regardless. I mean, Athene's Unholy Grail is a great item. It allows you a lot of spam. She did have the Chalice early, Rusty did, but it's almost like an Abyssal Scepter as well. I mean, it gives you AP while giving you magic resist, and in this case, it allows you to spam those spears. That's exactly what they want to do. If they're going to commit to this poke comp and make it work, they have to spam that spear. So it's a really excellent choice there for Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of poke, people think of, the famous hotshot GD in Italy, just chunking people when they push in. I'm not too sure. Actually, no, I am sure. The push here from MF is actually quite strong. We saw them do this when they had Jace. Obviously, Jace was banned this time around because Bolas has just been wrecking people's faces with that champion. But Caitlyn Song range and the steroid she gets from Nunu is really good at pushing, and I would be very surprised if we saw anything but the triple GP10 plus just fast Zeke Herald. In fact, Venom's done one better. There's a great set. Oh, orange out. Nope, it was okay. And I completely forgot about remove scurvy, but that makes Ash's life of arrowing just even more frustrating. That actually adds to the value, I guess, of that Gangplank pick. And Blast is just like, yeah, nice ultimate, bro. I'm just gonna eat an orange and BK.
And as I said, if he does go and commit more to a tank plank build, all he has to do is stand in front of Radiator all day. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, and that might be where he's going. So we'll have to see. But Zeke's Herald, is up for Nunu, by the way. It's just, yeah, he's got it. He didn't even need the third GP10. He's like, yeah, I'm good with this. And so that Caitlyn's just going to be doing silly things. You can see Blood Boil almost maxed out there as well. Currently 4 levels into that one. The leveling continues for the jungling. Great Q there! Venom could lose his oracles and it is going to go down. And that is the power of Zyra. We've seen it time and time again when Heavens has played her. And that cannot be good for MF. They've been playing so flawlessly in this tournament. And especially in this game. They're going to lose their dude and their blue buff for it. And maybe even more if IEM want to push. We're losing an Oracles there, just giving away a kill. It's not that much, but it just hurts. It hurts so much for MF.
Yeah, that was a good amount of chunking, but in the return, I mean, Rusty's still throwing out these spears, and he just actually caught Radiator just cuff of the air, but half his hit points. And look at Maddie getting chunked with the ace of the whole time.
Oh!
Big misplay. Big misplay on immunity parts right there.
Oh, and it threads the needle. That's 2 misplays in a row, but looks like IEM is still going to profit most from it. Here comes Dragon as well, but MF, they have everyone else up. Nunu running back from the base now. We could see them come in. Another great snare from Heavens, but not going to quite commit there. But IEM do have to get off the Dragon. But I have to say, Zyra, man, no, it's not. It is Deadly Bloom. Oh man, I can't remember. No, it's not. Grasping Roots. Man, all their abilities are doing crazy things. I was calling it Cure yesterday. Apologies, my kind viewers. Grasping Roots are E, just snaring people up. And it's like a Morgana Dark Binding. It's just so good at catching people, kind of with their pants down. And look at this. MF's pressure here with all that poke. They do what they can. They're able to take out this Dragon. IEM seem to be grouping for pressure there on the mid, but not going to get it. And MF there actually mentioned, I think, come out on top in that trade. 1-for-1 kills in a Dragon, if I'm not mistaken. So MF, again, continue a small gold lead here with 3,000 gold ahead. And I don't think I've ever seen in the last 10 months seen a team up in gold against immunity. So they're going to be pretty happy. But we'll see again. Still a long way to go in this game.
Today is a day of hallmarks in history then, my friend, because we do got the top 2 Australian teams. Now, during that Dragon, we actually had Gangplank hold on to his ultimate, but I'm not too sure if anybody noticed. He had to use it on that top lane in order to keep a lot of that damage off. So, depending if we actually notice, we're going to have Balasta's ult down for another 70 seconds. Could be a little bit of a window of opportunity for IEM to exploit, but that's only influenced.
Yep, just a quick note there in chat. Immunity are definitely the favourites. So they came through the winners bracket. I believe undefeated. Yep. They didn't play MF though. MF lost to the team that Immunity actually beat in the winners final. So Immunity definitely the favourites. But MF looking very strong in this one, looking to maybe force for our second game, which is of course technically third in our weighted best of 3. We're currently in a best of 3 with a 1-game advantage to Immunity. This is our first game of the night, the first broadcast, but it is technically the second game if you want to think about it that way. And again, if MF win this, they have a chance to take the title and be the team that gets to go to IEM Guangzhou coming up on 1st of October. There's a lot on the line. This will actually be the first ever Australian League of... Oh no, it's not. Oh, I almost said that. The second ever Australian League of Legends team to go international. The first was actually Sequential, back when they were Sequential. If anyone needs to know some Australian League of Legends history, here we come. But yeah, they went to WCG, actually beating who was then Immunity. Never mind about that. Venom get caught by a spear. Twisted Advance actually dodges the poke, but Jesse bites the brunt of it instead. Now the damage comes in. Ventral Maelstrom makes some very tanky fluff in now as well. There's a great ult there from Venom, but no, it's not going to be enough. Hemoplague picks up Zephyrus, and it just seems like everything is falling apart for MF. Ace in the hole, not going to be, not this time. Heavens tanks that one up, and 2 kills for nothing as Immunity find the initiation they want. And Jester, as we were talking about it, if IEM are able to initiate on this poke comp, that almost feels like there's not a whole lot that MF can do, and they just got caught straight with their pants around their ankles there.
Well, again, that was Venom, and again, another Oracle's Bites the Dust. That is a huge gold loss for MF. So, you know, they might have about 2,500 gold there on paper, but you got to keep in mind that 2 Oracles minus that, it's still anybody's game. But at this point, I mean, that's twice in a row now. Immunity able to take a kill, this time 2, off of Mindfreak, and if we keep that trend up, we might start seeing it shift immensely towards Immunity.
We may as well. I've actually tapped over the gold graph here. I was having a look at a few of the items. Some interesting trivia. Caitlin's actually up on gold by about 200 on Ashe. So he's got a Zeal hanging out in her inventory. Ashe, actually, that was a bit... How did that happen? Oh, okay, they both just bought their Phantom Dancers just to troll me extra hard while I was tabbed over not looking at the items. But both Infinity Edge and PD up for the AD carry, so nothing much between them item-wise. Looking down, Rabadon's up for Heavens as well as Haunted Guys and Cadus to go along with his shoes. And a Negatron Cloak in there as well, just for good measure. Nearly a little bit raw right now, has finished up her Death Cap, but only has Holy Grail and has barely any other gold, so it looks pretty good there. Jesse takes a ton of damage to the face though, and there's an arrow again, going to catch up Venom, who's going to tank it up this time. I think he's going to be alright. No, can't reinitiate there. A good arrow there by Raider, attempting to catch maybe the AP carry out, but no dice this time around. And Immunity continue to look for those spots, and that's the thing. When you have a Pokemon like this wants to keep at range, you've got a global initiation on Ashe, and that's what Immunity have been able to find small advantages here. They're still actually behind in goal. They're looking good. Their Spook's completely out of position. Almost gets annihilated there by a bunch of damage. Stranglethorn's a little bit too late there from Heavens. May have been on cooldown. But this may see Immunity try and pressure for a Baron. But this game is just obscenely tense at this point. We're seeing them rotate around. Lots of clearing out here. Immunity, of course, on the blue side, so a bit easy to clear those wards for Baron for them. So they seem to be going back and forth to the area, making sure it's as clear as you possibly can be. And I'm going to click over to Venom. He now no longer has an Oracles. In fact, there isn't one up on MF right now. And that hurts 30 minutes into a game. That really hurts.
2 Oracles in a row, bro. I mean, that stuff is not cheap. Now, you can see this blue buff actually getting scouted out here by Immunity, so they're going to be taking control of 2 of the blues, as well as Radiator sitting there pretty with the red. And I'm not too sure, do we actually have... No, we have 0 buffs on top of Mindfreak at this point. Now, we are going to cycle through the Dragon, not going to find it. Do we have a Crystal Arrow? It's up in 15, so no super initiation right here. But Maokai looking really strong. He's going to go in. A great split from Mindfreak is going to defeat this, and maybe we're going to see a bit of a regroup into a 5-on-5 full-on team fight.
Potentially. I mean, poke works best when you're not fighting in the jungle. That much I can tell you. So they really don't want to get caught in chokes where Zara's ult is obscenely effective, where Arrow's really good, the corridors you can snipe it through. Kind of make it hard to get out there as Fluff takes a ton to the face as well. Caitlyn up in top now. I think IEM realized this. They're going straight for pressure here on the tier 2 turret in mid, but that poke is just obscene. Guys, you got to learn to stand behind the minions. Cannon barrage as well. Jesse takes a ton as well. These spears just doing so much damage. I'm having hotshot GG style flashbacks here, people. And oh my goodness, this game's so tense right now. Maddie now kites around, doesn't want to get caught out. Caitlin potentially, no, not going to get caught here either. And MF looking strong, they're on the offensive, charging down as well. And the rest of IEM do back away from this one. But still, we feel like we've had quite a standoff here for about 10-15 minutes potentially. These two teams, again, not giving an inch. I mean, it's all on the line. It's grand finals time, so both these teams definitely want to win. MF have to win to get the slot, and if IEM win, they get it. So they're going to be, both teams, of course, it's a tournament. You want to win. That kind of goes without saying. And this might go very well towards them winning. There is no vision on Baron right now for IEM.
There's no vision. But, I mean, IEM do have wards all around the place, and this is where that Oracles is really starting to hurt. Can we finish off this Baron before the engage? It does look like they are going to have the DPS to take it. Now here comes immunity. If we turned around, we could catch out that Vladimir, but instead, we're just going to pop the Shurilias and head on out. So, good objective from them, but again, that lack of Oracles not clearing those wards, immunity really needed to react faster to that, but now they've given up that free objective. And as you said, I mean, everything is on the line here. And one thing to note, this, they're not budging because the poke comp really does need to kind of work. And if it's just going to be straight up engages from immunity, then the poke comp's going to fall apart. So every time we see these engages, they just fall back, they throw out the poke, and again, that Athene's unholy grail, 15% cooldown reduction, you're pretty much seeing a machine gun of spears coming out of Lusty.
Yeah, and here's a dragon as well. Now MF now solidifying a little bit more of a gold advantage. We're getting close to 5,000 gold. I mean, it's a 33-minute mark. That's not great, but it's something. It's definitely a definitive lead, and looks like everyone else is going back. Cannon Barrage gets chucked out there, I think, in bottom lane? Yeah, bottom lane. Boss is going to pick up a bit of free farm before he goes to recall. He's got I think a fair amount.
Doing it all.
He's happy. More of Marmortia's up for him as well. We'll see what is everyone else bought. We've got Negatron Cloak up, Shurelias, Zeeks, and Heart of Gold there for Nunu. Aegis of the Legion up for Janet. Very, very key item on any team. Supporters managed to pick that one up, so happy there. QSS up on Spooks again. He is never going to get caught by another Ash Arrow. So, MF, they're doing it. They've got a lead. All they have to do is make sure they can hold it and keep going through. And we're going to get our much loved second game here. But again, we got a long way to go for this one, and I think we had enough our fair share of 25-minute games to deserve, I guess, a slightly longer one at least for this one. So, strap in, guys. This could go late.
Well, this is again just something that I commented upon last game with MIS. I mean, they had that mid rise with teleport. We also have Ballista with teleport, and I don't think I've seen it used once.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's one of those things where if you're not going to use your spell, I mean, I know it's on a long cooldown and you need to pick your spots, but it's a bit awkward if you don't use it. We've seen Ballista top time and time again as well with his top lane champions, just kind of sticking there and pushing as much as he possibly can. He kind of needs to be there to help tank and poke and all that stuff. So MF definitely don't feel like they're ahead enough to force a 4v5, although we are now seeing Ballista come up top, but he's not really been able to pressure the top lane as much as he'd like. Bot's pushing it a little bit more, so maybe they could think about going there, but I'm not sure. I mean, as you said, the split push not going the way. When you have poke and split push, it can work really, really well for you. It's just that MF haven't been able to find the advantage they've needed to do what they need to do and force 4v5s. So we'll see. It could I mean, late game, it could matter immensely at a key moment, but right now it's just kind of sitting in his inventory, not really doing a whole lot. I have to agree with you, Jester, but I am for I think the first time ever in this tournament. They feel scared. They look scared. What are they doing?
They kind of do.
They're behind the river.
They're a little bit on the defensive, yeah. They're defending. I mean, they can't give up, objectives just because they're named Infinity or Immunity. Yeah. Infinity. Wow. But 3-3. It's still anyone's game. 5,000 gold difference. It's a slight edge, but we have lost multiple oracles, and we have been spending a small fortune in terms of wards all around this map. Now here we go. Finally, Gangplank split pushing off to the top, where we do got the 4v5 in the mid. This Baron buff effectively making it a 5-on-5 in the mid because of the extra power increase, and Ballista able to get that top tower. So I mean, finally we might see this teleport coming into play. We've already peeled off Vlad. All we have to do is engage into this mid, teleport on over. It's all of a sudden a 5-on-4 with a Baron infused Mindfreak team, and they can take this mid, but they just gotta wait for that right moment.
Yeah, well, for all the great poke that Mindfreak do have, and they've got an absolute plethora of poke right now. It's pretty sick what they got going on. The damage items that Immunity have is very, very scary, and I saw Spooks just take a little bit of damage, kind of just a love tap, and he almost died. It was very, very tense. So if MF put one foot out of line, and that's the thing about pokes, like, you have to play pretty much flawlessly for it to work out. Because when someone gets caught, as we've seen, everything just goes bad very quickly. And IEM have a great comp for initiating with, and they're so hungry to get some kills. So this game could turn very, very quickly, and as it goes later, as those death times get larger as well, it gets a little bit scary. We can see IEM a little bit out of their shell now. The Baron buff is gone, but I think, as you said, Jester, is the trigger for why there was that 4v5 star push that I was kind of commenting on that we needed to see from MF. So they had a great little push there. You can see 4-3 in turrets, and the gold, and then still kind of a small advantage, about 5,000-6,000 up for them. Blue buff now going to get picked up as well by Rusty to continue the poke train. But Baron, the next Baron, I think, when you get this late, when you get around the 40-minute mark, oh no, Blaster, don't die.
Man, Belasta is just getting so close to that. Had that landed, I would have really seen a lot of flashes into trying to grab that kill. But all the summoners are up, everyone. So this next team fight, if it does come to it, it's going to be something of a doozy. But at this point, it is, 4 minutes for that Baron respawn. We're going to have to wait for that. Dragon's not up. We are still looking for those objectives. And it does look like Immunity is just really trying to bank on someone splitting up, and that they just are able to find them as 5 units. Now, to be fair, Mindfreak is a little bit spread out, but at the same time, they're not immensely far from each other. They're all within assistable reach, and I think they're just having a really tough time trying to find an into this Kapote comp. I mean, we've said it time and again. Rusty now with a Void Staff, if you don't dodge those spears, you're losing half your health every tick.
Yeah, he's pretty much like maximum damage potential for this point in the game. Taking him a while to get there, but 467 AP with a ton of M-Pen as well. That percentage M-Pen from the Void stuff so strong. And we've already been noticing these spears hurt. I mean, I think it's 250% damage at max range on that spear.
Something
so
ridiculous,
yeah, so that AP ratio, it's like, oh, he's only got that much AP. It's amplified by a pretty significant amount if you hit them at longer range. And we've seen they really hurt people. That no one has been happy, not even Maokai, the tanky champion on the IEM side has been happy to really tank those. And interestingly enough, there's not a whole lot of magic resist on the immunity side. I'm just looking through now. There's an Abyssal Scepter there on Syra. Maokai doesn't have any except for the Null Magic Mantle that's in his Aegis of the Legion, and that's it, I think. Yeah, that's actually it for MR. Soraka will give them a bit of extra as well, lest we forget Soraka's aura, but this, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have gone Void stuff there, but hey, it'll definitely help throughout the game. It's an item you want, but all these spears just really hurt people, and there's only so much that an Aegis and an Abyssal Scepter can do. In fact, Abyssal doesn't even give you an aura magic resist. There goes my game knowledge. But Aegis not enough, that's for sure.
At the same time, you bring your enemy's magic resist as close to 0 as possible, and you're going to get that true damage kind of feel. Rusty, he's hitting 230 spear with plus 250 on it, so call it 500, multiply that by 250%, and you're hitting 4 digits per spear at max range. It is nothing you can really shrug off. At the same time, I mean, Caitlyn, at this point, she's looking like a pretty powerhouse AD. 256 attack damage, sorry, 248 now. Blood Boil, she also has Nunu rocking that Zeke's Herald. I mean, that's more attack speed, that's more lifesteal. She's sitting at 25% lifesteal, but she's also sitting at 46% armor penetration with over 50% crit chance.
Okay, and
it's just ridiculous to try to get an in.
And I think we're going to see that teleport getting used. Blasters down the bottom. Immunity have started Baron. It's kind of hard to outsmart a Nunu with Consume. There's a Cannon Barrage coming in. Blasters should port in soon as well. Oh my goodness! Rusty steals it with a spear! You've got to be kidding me!
Oh, that is not good for Immunity whatsoever. We actually even saw Belasta use that teleport onto a ward in case there was going to be a resulting team fight, but that spear, again, 250% is hitting over 4 digits, and it just took it. It's just the same as Nunu walking up to it with a Consume Smite combo. It's just like, how do you defend against that?
Who needs Nunu? Who needs Nunu? You can do it from range. It's like a Consume attached to a spear. That was ridiculous. And now Inhibitor's getting pushed out. Immunity, I don't know what is going on right now. They are just, I think they are still in shock from that Baron, and they failed to defend their bottom. But they just got many towers pushed down. They're going to lose red buff here as well. And now, MF have actually built themselves, after this dragon, it'll be over 10,000 gold. And I hope I can safely say we're going to get a second game, because this has just been sick.
You must apologize to your viewers. You've blown out their eardrums, but at the same time, all that shouting has accumulated us over 1,000 viewers, which means we owe you guys RP and an apology.
For real this time, we owe you RP. I did say that the audio would be good in my normal voice. I'm sorry that I killed people. I thought it might be a problem, but this is exciting. In fact, I may turn it back down to unboosted, just so when that happens again in the next game, you guys don't all die. I'm sorry, but I'm not. In fact, I'm not sorry. I regret nothing. That was totally worth what happened there. What an amazing steal by Rusty.
Oh my goodness, 3-3 as the kills, but who cares? Over 11,000 gold difference now accumulated for Mindfreak. You know, they started off slow. In fact, it was immunity with the gold lead for the longest time until we got that first blood with Gangplank. Ever since then, it's been little by little, but it has accumulated very nicely into the 43-minute game, and this is the longest game we've seen immunity play in this tournament.
Yeah, I feel like if this goes to 2 games, this might be like the total of the tournament we had in the last 2 days. Just kidding, it's not going to be that long, but you're right, this is the longest game. It's 45 minutes or thereabouts, 43-20 if you want to get real specific. But, I mean, Immunity are known, to be fair, they are known to be down and pull out in clutch situations. They have the experience in that area, they have the skill, absolutely. And actually, it's moused over Heaven's Curse. Here's a DFG. I don't know how good that is. There's cooldown reduction on there, which is definitely good on Zyra, but Heaven's really looking to blow somebody up. I mean, that's kind of what they need to do. They want to initiate and just kill somebody. Hopefully this Caitlyn that is now ripping people apart. Last Whisper, Infinity Edge, and Phantom Dancer all up for her as well. And that QSS, not to mention, and now Bloodthirster. Jeez. Caitlyn just went into hyper He-Man mode, even though she's female, and I understand she's wearing a short skirt, but this is the manliest Caitlyn I've ever seen, and I say that...
That's going on YouTube for sure. Ever. But I mean, she's Zyra has had that the Cage's lucky pick for 40 minutes. I mean, she's been nursing it quite a bit. I mean, Vladimir's had his as well. In fact, it's almost gained him 1,000 gold now from just gold per 10s. I mean, the later we get into this, we're going to see 6 items.
There's Venom actually getting caught here. Fluff goes in. Oh, Greybox in again from Zephyrus, resetting the fight. Heaven splashes in. They pick up 1 kill there. There's Nunu. They need Zeph as well. The Hemo play goes off. Everybody's still alive. Jesse kind of low, but Soraka can heal them back through this, but everybody else is going to run away. Apologies to the eardrums again, ladies and gentlemen, but you have been warned. 2 for 0. Immunity pick up something there, but they're still down in gold. To be fair, as this game gets later, it matters more whether or not you die and matters less how much gold you have. You can just see how many items are being filled in these slots right now by both these teams. There's just so many things going on. All the things, in fact, are on both these teams. And Immunity, they found a small window here. And again, MF, I said it before, you want to play poke, you got to play perfect. Radier of all people gets caught, but no follow-up. The damage from Caitlyn there was absurd, but can't quite pick up the kill there. And MF have got to be a little bit upset they couldn't pick that off. Radier uncannily out of position there. And Rusty going to continue to throw out the poke because he understands #1 job right now. It is just a poke all day, every day. Every day he poking. And he's been doing it absolutely perfectly. And Gangplank Infinity Edge Last Whisperer, which I did want to mention when he picked up IE, his parlays hurt. They hurt a lot. He's basically a second carry at this point. And he's fairly tanky to boot. Not super tanky, but fairly tanky. Got a bit of health mixed in there from that Phage. The Phage, obviously, that's in the Trinity Force, and Heart of God as well. Got a more of Malmortis as well, which kind of makes sense because there's, of course, 2 AP carry champions on the IM side right now, but I hate to say it, but despite the advantage, I think this might still be anybody's game.
46% armor penetration on top of that parlay, which hits for something about 400. The problem is, again, you know, that Phage. Phage can proc off of that parlay, and we do have a 40% crit chance on that 400 from Ballista. So yeah, Ballista is kind of functioning as a semi-carry. He kind of did not go tank blank whatsoever, but he does hurt. 355 attack damage, just base. It's, you know, again, the game, as it goes longer and longer, we're going to start seeing maxed out builds, 6 item builds, and, you know, 6 item builds are very impressive no matter what way you cut it.
Yeah, I mean, and despite the gold difference, if you have all 6 items, you can't really get any better. So excess gold you have from that point, not really particularly relevant. I think the reason we're not going to see tank plank, unfortunately, is just MF is like, we have poke, that's our poke comp, let's just add more poke, and we're going to have a super semi-carry Gangplank who could get killed if there's a Hawkshot. I think we're going to see maybe Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but we've seen this game before. Does not work the way that Ash wants it to with those oranges up.
I mean, as well as more games go on, the farm gets increasingly ridiculous, but check out Kaylee's 450 creeps in 47 minutes.
Yeah, and people in chat are kind of, giving us the Z's a little bit there. Yeah, I understand it's not particularly exciting, but this is the comp that MF have picked, and if they don't play it this way, they lose. So
this is an important game, guys. Might not be exciting, but this is a very important game. This game could decide who's going and who's not. So deal with it.
In fact, this game decides exactly that, Jester. So these guys are... They definitely, I mean, they're not giving an inch. It's been very, very close. We've seen a few missteps here and there by both these teams, but been playing almost at the same level, but very impressive by both these players, especially, of course, Mindfreak, who are a great team. Don't get me wrong, they've been great for a very long time, but they're having just an incredible run in this tournament, and in this game, especially against Immunity. I just can't believe I'm saying it's still not over. See Radio pick up a red buff. He has GA up for himself as well. So Radio one Bloodthirster away. If that does want to be his last item, that is what he's going to pick up to get his full 6 item build. Caitlyn, of course, already there as well. Sunfire Cape was the pick up for Nunu as well, just to be a little bit more tankier. So Nunu's going to transition into being the tankier champion from this one. He is going to be the main tank up for Mindfreak. As the viewers spewing. Hello viewers, lovely to have you here. You're joining the end of a pretty epic game, and if you're very lucky, Mindfreak will win, and Immunity. And we'll get a second game out, and you guys will be able to see these players in action yet again. Baron Ward's getting cleared out. I mean, at this point, Baron itself is almost game. And when it comes to late game, the Baron buff is almost too good. Oh my goodness, the damage.
Radier getting chunked extremely hard. What is Jesse rocking into this late game? Still with the cooldown boots. Has that Shirley at only 30 AP, but at the same time, she's the only real health coming in. Here we go again for that Baron.
Yep, so Spook's gonna come in now. So do so much damage to Radu, who almost picks him off. Managed to snipe him almost there. There's the arrow coming in, kind of wasted. Balasta going back in, Fluff getting taken out. I think Mindfreak might be able to get that. Hemo Plague, but Maddie, oh, what a troll's on his Zephyrs again with the ult to heal them up. Balasta not win as well. Rusty gets crushed down. Maddie somehow manages to do that. Radiant takes a ridiculous amount of damage, but what? You kidding me? 3 for 2 at this point. Sorry, 3 for 1. And Immunity managed to come out on top with that team fight. Vladimir, what a troll. What a troll.
So much damage. How did that Vladimir block so much and get those kills? That is really amazing. But I think it's even more impressive that Radier did not even have to use the Guardian's Angel. He got so low so repetitively during that fight. But Jesse, what a champ. You know, that wish, those infusions, those astral blessings, such a champ. And the worst part is that the Baron lived.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after all that action, we got more than 2 kills, which is more we've had in a while for the last team fights, and the game is still kind of at the same state, which is interesting to say the least. To be fair, this does mean that we'll be able to, yes, I will re-upload this, just for people asking in the chat. There will be a VOD ready to go.
So, despite how that team fight went, this is now the second, if not the third time, that Immunity, when coming, face to face with Mindfreak, has come out on top. The gold might not be changing that much, but this late into the game, all you need is that hero advantage, and gold can really just mean absolutely nothing when you're knocking on the Nexus. Yeah, the death timers at this point are pretty much maxed out, and in terms of just the pushing power from both teams, because we're getting closer and closer to those six item perfect builds, again, if a team fight just goes ridiculously wrong for either team, it really doesn't matter what the state of their farm is, because the Nexus is going to be the #1 priority, and in all likelihood it could go down depending on who's alive.
And the stream will just see exactly what's happening. I'm fixing my mic because I realized I'm getting kind of excited, so I'm probably not going to need the boost. There's a great arrow actually onto Venom there, but he cleanses out of it. So QSS is out of it, excuse me. Did pick that one up in there as well, sneakily without me watching. How dare you, good sir. Let me just quickly turn this down so I can do all the yelling I want, because that's kind of how I roll. 1 second, everybody. Apologies, the camera will be non-existent for a short while.
That's alright, nothing's going on for that short while. We actually have a big lack of wards, which is something I'm a little concerned about. But the only person on any team that can actually carry wards is Soraka, because she already has 4, and then Janna. I mean, other than that, just maybe Nidalee, because she has a free slot. But, wards are still they're still important or even more important into the late game, because again, if you can get out that hero advantage, it could mean a very lethal push against your enemy team. And look at this. I mean, right now immunity is up by the Baron, but they could be getting very surprisingly backdoored here by MF. That is going to be forcing all the recalls because they cannot afford a Baron into a lost Nexus.
No, not at all.
Big pressure play.
And potentially that was funny you say backdoor. I was like, yeah, I agree with you, except it's a 5-man backdoor, which I don't think is anything we've seen. I mean, Buster Teleport is like, I don't need it, that's fine. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, they're actually doing this?
You just need one advantage to win the game. One advantage, and they might get it.
Oh, and Fluff checks it. What a great play there, but he's still coming in. Vengeful Maelstrom procs off, prevents a lot of the damage. So much damage there for the Hemo play. Strangle Thoughts goes down there as well, and I don't think it's enough. Immunity against all odds may just take this. Vladimir comes in as well to pick somebody off. Heavens will go down, but Spooks is dead. That is the most important person at this stage of the game there for MF. Immunity peel off 3 kills for 1 there, and I still don't know if that's enough. I actually still don't know if that's enough. This game is crazy.
Radier, again, getting out without popping that Guardian's Angel, but again, I gotta give it to Jesse. Jesse, as soon as Fluff gets hit, Fluff throws down the ultimate. Jesse with the Astral Blessing, the Infuse, and the Witch in fairly straight symmetrical order, and Fluff lives out of that. I mean, they did lose Heavens, but Spooks went down fighting, and again, this is all you need, but it looks like it's going to be a base race. Look at this, the Rusty Ball makes the Ballista in the bottom lane, peeling back Fluff and Maddie, while we do have Radier and Jesse in the mid, pushing down the inhibitors. They wanted to try for that desperation peel, but it's just not going to be enough, because we have absolutely no defense for Mindfreak in this mid. Down goes that turret, they're going to lose this inhibitor. I don't think they can lose the Nexus at this point, but we're going to throw down that ward, we're going to keep that vision, and that could have been a very, very costly misplay from Mindfreak.
Yeah, and what a grave mistake there. Blaster's teleport not available, and minions, just to add insult to injury, pick one off there in the top lane as well. Immunity, you know, they had a great team, but I cannot believe Fluff to check that bush. I cannot believe it happened, so I have to believe it, but that was ridiculous. Who does that? Who checks that bush? How are you that good at this game? Oh my lord.
They have wards in the jungle. They clearly didn't see Mindfreak going that way, so if they're not on the map, oh my god, look at Maddie getting chunked.
Yeah, the spear still hurt, and Caitlyn definitely still hurts as well. It was actually funny, I wanted to notice, the person who had oracles on MF was actually Caitlyn, because she just had so much money. She's been full blue for like 10 minutes now. Immunity have found a window. They're still behind in gold, but this game is approaching an hour. 55 minutes we are about to hit. And at this point, the gold is practically irrelevant. You can see there are just... It's like Walmart down here with all these items just chilling. Only Soraka has a slot open, which I don't know what she'll fill with. And other than that, yeah, Janna has a slot open as well. And they've both got wards filling in there as well. So, supports, you know, doing what they can. Everybody else is chock a block with full 6 items. And this Kate Lucky pick is still here for Maddie. It's earned him 1,200 gold over the course of this game. Oh, Baron. MF, and realize what's going on. I am a little bit out of position. They may be afraid of that inhibitor getting taken out, and they could do a Baron here. Fluff is realizing, poking them back off at Heavens here as well with the grasping roots, throwing that out. And MF do have to get off Baron here. So this is the last precious minutes of this game. It could go longer, but this game's been, I know people have said it's been boring. It couldn't be more tense though, in my opinion. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Raider, he has arrow up. Yes, he does! He catches Rusty, who flashes out into it. The no follow-up, though. So Rusty gets away with a free one there. That could have been very, very bad news there for Mindfreak. And I would expect to see a few more QSSs, but again, everyone's kind of full up at this point. But I am going to pressure onto this Baron. There's Cannon Barrage yet again to see it. Can Rusty pull off yet another hero steal? He throws out the poke, and I am immediately withdraw from Baron. They only get Gangplank's ult out of as well, which is okay. Okay, then what are you doing? Spook's out of position. That does have a GA for a rebuy. Or a rebuy in essence. There's Fluff. He goes in. Wizard of Advance comes in as well. Zephyrus with a beautiful ultimate. And now Fluff may go down here, but no, they re-engage. Hemo play comes out as well now for Maddie. And everybody can go. Heavens picks up Zeph though as the support goes down. The Janna ultimate trying to save his team. Gets himself killed in the process. And Immunity are going to gun straight for Baron. Rusty, you are going to have to do it again. Come up absolutely huge in this game if you want to keep your team in it. Sun, steal Baron. You know he can do it. And look, he knows as well. He's even poking around here. If only he had an Oracle to clear the wards, but he's going to do it. He throws the trap in there as well. Rusty, if you do this again, I don't even know. But this bottom pressure as well. We see the inhibitor getting taken out. But will the Baron still happen? Rusty gets it out, but Fluff blocks it. Great play that time, but there's pressure down the bottom now as it comes through. 3 people, including Spooks and Balasa, destroy that bottom inhibitor, and this game still is so hard to call. 56 minutes in, there is an absolute bevy of items. It's a treasure trove in here. And what is going on? I am so sad that I have to cast all day tomorrow, because I'm not going to have a voice. Arrow comes there, hits Venom. Doesn't even bother Q assessing out. Oh, he does actually. Wasn't really a danger though. Shirelius and Blood Boil's out there as well to get his team alive. There's actually raised morale in there as well, so much move speed. Fluff may be able to peel off Spooks here. But no, not going to go in. His team are way too far away for that one. That would have been heroic initiation. And by heroic, I mean stupid.
I'm a little surprised that we didn't actually turn around and destroy that Maokai while he had the chance. It was a perfect opportunity to just chunk him down. Caitlyn, 358 base attack. Belastus in at pretty much 370 as well. I mean, I don't care how much armor you have. That starts hurting after a good bit. But now, with that pressure, I mean, we did get that bottom inhibitor, but the mid one has been missing for Mindfreak for a while. 12-5 is the score, and again, the gold, it really doesn't matter anymore at this point. So many people are just finishing off builds. The only thing gold is good for anymore is just repotting up. But both these AD carries rocking the GAs, and it's just pressure at this point. Immunity needs to try to capitalize on this, otherwise it's just going to reset back into that stalemate. And I don't think I've seen a competitive game go this long since NA regionals. I mean, we had a 75-minute game there. This could easily rival that at this point.
Yeah, it could. They're definitely trying, that's for sure. 58 minutes, we're getting very close to an hour. It's going to go at least an hour at this point. I'm doing the smart thing, pushing that one. Arrow, I think, whips, actually. Maybe the first time. Fluff gets annihilated, though. Spooks takes him down as well, so now 4v5 territory for Mindfreak. They may be able to pick it up. Spear on Raider is absolutely massive. Can they follow up? Evans gets crushed. He's got to be kidding me. Mindfreak may be able to take this out. Jesse runs through. 2 kills, 2-1. Zephyrus goes down again for his team, but the base is now pushing in. If this gets to double base race territory, I think I'm gonna be mute officially.
I'll carry you, bro. I'll carry you. But yeah, Belastic covering that mid. He wasn't even part of that fight in the bottom. I mean, he threw out his ultimate, but that was basically it. And because of that, we got 2 kills. We repelled the invasion from IEM. Radier getting extremely low yet again, tanking those spears to the face, but still not popping that Guardian Angel. That could be a really major goal here from Mindfreak. And now they are going to try their luck. They are pushing straight down the middle. IEM, do they even realize this? Yes, we do have the backs going on, but Radier might go for a split push top. Instead, no, he is going to head back as well. Can they save this tower? Not a chance in hell. It goes down in fairly short order, and the timing couldn't have been better because Mindfreak mid inhibitor actually came up at the end of the previous fight, which means they don't have to worry about those super minions anymore.
And Mindfreak getting in.
Tower to their name.
Maddie takes a ton of damage as Spooks kind of takes one as well. Radier full on speed to the face. That is seriously making me think it's going to one-shot him at one point. It's getting dangerously close. Poor Ash there. Could just have a GA.
575.
Just have. Oh man, so much damage. Nidalee's not even finished her build. Just a blasting one. Just a random blasting one that is going to be whatever insanely sick DPS item Rusty wants to pick up next. Nidalee, what's your bank going on? Yep, 1600 gold. Those numbers are pretty intense. The support has the least amount of gold, which is 11,500. This is
still insane.
Yes, it's
16.5 thousand, not 1600. 16.5 thousand is that in Italy, but it still pales in comparison to both Caitlyn and Gangplank. 22,000 gold to their name each.
Yeah, the only one over 20, of course, Radier has been CSing up. He has 400. We have numbers of CS in excess of 400. 450, 452, 437. Oh my goodness, Caitlyn, what have you been doing? Someone has been feeding her something. And I'm not just talking about minions. That is ridiculous. Oh man. Blood Boil, just so efficient. And Caitlyn has so much CS. I mean, again, the gold at this point kind of irrelevant, but the numbers are very large. And MF are poised.
2.29. 2.29 attacks a second.
And Max as well with the Blood Boil as well. Initiation, there's a Shirelius Reverie coming off for Fluffy. Needs Spooks. They catch him. Great flash. Twisted advancing. Zeph with another great ulti. Fluff still pretty tanky. Heavens comes in there. Hemoblade follows up. Absolute Zero. Stranglethorn's Venom goes down. Spooks GA gets popped. I think Immunity somehow may have done it. And Balasa is so low right now, but Rusty's still throwing spears. Matty almost gets his GA chunked away from him, but the base is in trouble. Balasa, he knows what to do. He's a man. He can do it. He can feel it. He can hear the song from Mulan playing in his head. He's going to push. He's going to do what damage he can here. And Immunity have to back at this point. There is no turning back. Immunity, don't do it. Don't double base race. Don't do this to me. This is so unfair. I love you both. But you're killing me, guys. There's middle inhibitor goes down for inhibitor. Oh, crap. This is actually happening. Manny and Balasta trying to duke it out, but GS still there for Vlad. Going to be enough. Immunity pushing forward for this last Nexus turret. Or the first Nexus turret, I should say. They are going to get it. Rusty can't do a whole lot but poke, and they can't quite find it. Their radio is still with that GA up and ready to go. You have got to be flipping kidding me. This Nexus now bare. Rusty going to go and try and be a hero, but can't do it. And I think Immunity somehow managed to win it. They will be your IEM Guangzhou champions. Good game. Well played. Immunity are going to China to rep Australia, and that was an amazing grand final game, and I'm so glad we don't have another game, because I'm pretty sure I'd actually be dead.
62 minutes, 17 seconds, a grand total of 25 kills on the board, and a combined gold of 181,000. You can't get better than that, sir. The only thing better than this is if Mindfreak actually had taken this and we had to go to a game 3. But you know what? This was sweet enough. This was almost too much for you and your computer, your connection, and our viewers' ears to take at some points, but good game, well played. Immunity, very, very well deserved. Congratulations.
Wow.